Gnana Yoga Shloka Sangraha. Compilation of the shlokas on Gnana Yoga. The 4 streams of yoga have been the contribution of Swami Vivekananda. He said that Jnana, Bhakti and Karma also are meant to reach us to moksha. Therefore, why keep yoga separately? So all are yogas. As has been postulated in Bhagavad Gita, every chapter is a yoga. Even Arjuna Vishada is a yoga, melancholy of Arjuna. Therefore, he broadened the definition of yoga based on the very meaning of the word yoga. The goal of all yoga is to reach moksha, the Kaivalya, Brahma Nirvana, and that's our original source. Whether you work with the intellect, or work with the emotions, or work with the willpower, or work in day-to-day activity, all are meant for the same goal. The same goal of absolute freedom. He also gave the nice meaning for the word moksha. Earlier people always associated moksha for people to go to the Himalayas and become sannyasis and relinquish all the worldly activities and totally absorb themselves in the spiritual quest and reach that state in which they overcome the bondage of birth and death. So Vivekananda said, moksha is absolute freedom. Freedom from what? At the lowest level, freedom from our day-to-day tension, stresses, freedom from diseases, freedom from our bondages, the bondage of the mind. Look at the mind. From morning when we get up till we sleep in the night, mind goes on thinking and thinking. Is it not a bondage? Therefore, can we overcome that bondage of the mind? Whenever we want, we should be able to think. When we don't want, we should be able to keep quiet. Then similarly, bondage of the emotions. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsya, all violent emotions torture us, enslave us and bind us. Biggest bondage. That is the root cause for all these modern ailments. Can we overcome that bondage? Can we be free from the bondage of these violent emotions, slavery of the bondage? And at the intellectual level, also we have bondage, ignorance, avidya, wrong notions, which are responsible for all the problems. Can we have the right direction? Can we overcome the avidya? Can we remove our ignorance? Can we be free from the bondage of the ignorance of the intellect? So he said, all these things are bondages, and can we overcome this? Then he goes to the bondage of the body. What is the bondage of the body? We have to take food, we have to give water to quench our thirst, and we are bound by the gravitation and are bound by the Panchabhutas. Can we overcome this bondage also? We all take birth and we all die on stage. And again we take birth, concept of rebirth, the cycles of birth and death. Can we overcome this more fundamental bondage? Can we demonize the body? Can we right here get the moksha in the sense that we overcome the bondage of the body by converting all our Panchabhutas into Panchatanmatras, converting all the Annamaya Kosha into Pranamaya Kosha, then to the Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, and go beyond the 5 koshas at the highest. And he quoted as Patanjali said, by systematic practice mentioned in the Vibhuti-pada, Sanyama, you can bring about the transformations called the Parinamas. The whole body can be transformed. We have examples of great yoga masters who bury themselves underground for years together, taking no food, no water. How do they live? Overcome the bondage and thirst and requirement of food. And they were great spiritual masters and yoga saints. At the Siddhas in Tamil Nadu, Sant Gnaneshwar in Maharashtra. You know the very famous example. Changladeva, great tantric worshipper, and a great Siddha. He just sat on a lion and had complete mastery over the lion. He wanted to show to Sant Gnandev, look at my grand achievements and great siddhis. He came on the lion and look at the grandeur of Gnandev. He was sitting on the compound wall and the whole compound wall started moving towards the lion. That is the grandeur of Sant Gnandev. And you may discard all these things as fairy tales, having no reality sense in it. But there is science behind it, which Patanjali talks about how to achieve these different levels, how to move towards Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Sayama. Sayama is the threefold process. Trayam ekatra sayama. That is the dharana, dhyana and samadhi put together. What is the result of that? Parinama. What is the parinama? Transformation of the body, transformation of the cells in the body, transformation of the genes in the body. The whole body is transformed from Panchabhuta to Panchatanmatras. Annamaya Kosha transformed to Pranamaya Kosha. This is called the process of divinization. The term used by Mahayogi Sri Aurobindo. His whole life in the last phase was essentially to convert this entire body into a divine body by what he called the supramental descent. Therefore, the whole process of transformation is again towards the higher freedom. When you start getting these higher powers, Patanjali cautions that you may get stuck with these powers, you may get stuck and get lured by the fascinating dimensions of these siddhis, and be careful. Again, there is a bondage, that's a trap, and you should not get lost into this trap of siddhis. Then your freedom will be just stagnated there, as it happened to Vishwamitra. That he got the Apsara, Menaka and others, and he was lured, and he lost several years and years. All the siddhis that he got and immediately vanished after a short time. Then after some time, when he overcome all these things, and again started purifying himself by deeper tapas, and started moving to the higher realms. Ego is the last to go. He wanted that Vasishtha should call him the Brahmarshi. And when he got into the higher levels with all the Ashtasiddhis, which he was able to create even a Trishampu Swarga, he comes to Vasishtha and he was hoping that he would now call him Brahmarshi. But Vasishtha, in his own inner prudence and the Gnana Drishti, welcome the great Rajarshi, has become a great Maharshi now. And his ego was greatly hurt. Still, Vasishtha is not calling me the Brahmarshi. Again he went back, started doing more and more tapas, more and more tapas, more and more dhyana, purifying himself. And even the last bit of the ego, when it was smashed, then he said, how does it matter if Vasishtha calls me as a Brahmarshi or calls me as a Rajarshi? When he relinquished that desire, even the desire that should be called as a Brahmarshi, and when he came with a smile on the face with all the Ananda, it happened that he came to Vasishtha. When they met, Vasishtha rightly called him, my dear great Brahmarshi Vishwamitra. So that is the purification that Patanjali talks about in the highest stages in the Kaivalya Pada. If you have all the Ashtasiddhis, still you have that small element of ego. Therefore, they all Sabija Samadhi. And the results of that, when you overcome that one day, that small bit of the ego at the highest level, with the highest of the Vinamrata, with the total surrender, the ultimate Ishwar Pradana at the highest level, then you reach that Kaivalya. So that is the whole realm that has been talked about in Jnana Yoga, in the Raja Yoga and others. So at the level of Jnana, you get the inner flash that you are not just a physical body, there is something beyond it. And the mind reaches a higher realm of consciousness called the Samadhi. In Patanjali's term, in the term of Jnana Yoga, it is called the Jnana. Jnana and Samadhi are essentially the same. In Jnana also there is a quantum jump. In Samadhi also there is a quantum jump. In Bhakti it is called the Sakshakara, God realization, translated. There also there is a expansion, a sudden explosion inside. And therefore, at the level of Jnana, you get an inner flash. And full of inner bliss and joy and happiness and unparalleled. No other celebration can take you to this level of the Samadhi. Therefore, you say that it's a fantastic thing, it's wonderful, so great, so great. And that is the level of Jnana, flash. And many times I have given this example of a person who came here many, many years back, late 87, 88, and he was an ambassador of France living in London. He was deputed to London as the ambassador of France. And he came here and somebody told, why don't you go to Prashant? It's a very beautiful and nice place. He came here just to watch and he stayed for a day. Then he felt very good. On that day we had the lecture on happiness analysis. What is happiness? The Ananda Mimamsa. The concluder of that study, he was very fascinated. It's an inner state of mind. You may have all the outside objects, still you can be miserable inside. You may have nothing outside, but still you can be extremely happy. Therefore, happiness and external objects are not related. You may be the biggest of the richest of the world, but still you can be extremely unhappy inside. You may be the poorest of the poor, but still you can be extremely happy inside. So happiness is a state of inner mind. It is a state of inner silence. When he heard this, then it was an opening of new doors to him. But what is to be done? How to get into this state of silence? The method was gone. Ananta Samapatti, meditation. That pure your mind to that infinite pure silence and consciousness. Take the example of a sky. Pure your mind to that sky. Every asana we should go to this level of the Samadhi by Ananta Samapatti. So I said, yes, I'm going to try. He asked people, I think Gita was there at that time, and he asked, Gita, can I stay for one more day? Actually, Gita said, yes, you can stay. Why 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, any number of days you can stay here. You are most welcome. You are our August guest. And he stayed for 21 days. When he was leaving, we had one VIP, and he asked, hey, you are such a busy man, and you came here just for a visit. What made you stay here for 21 days? Then very jokingly, in his witty approach, he told, when you go in that road to the end, there is a rock that is called a Swati rock. It is that Swati rock that made me stay here, he said. What are you talking? You don't have rocks in your country? And what is so special about this rock? No. Then that rock is a beautiful place. When you sit there, you have the complete expansion of the whole sky. Like the sky tent. Sky becomes a tent. And the deep valley down. And 360 degrees you can see. So what was he doing? Every morning he will go. After his little asanas with others, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, then he will go there, sit. 6 to 8 o'clock, then he will come, have a little breakfast, again go there. Those were the winter days, not much the sun. So I will stay up to 1 o'clock and come here, have lunch, have a little rest, again go there, by about 2:30, sit there up to 7, 7:30. And it went on and on. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. He said, after about 15 days, my mind became so silent, so calm, and there was sudden inner explosion. And such a blissful experience I never had in my life. And he said, born with a silver spoon in my mouth, I had all the riches that a human being can have. And I had a very smooth sailing. And I got married. I had a beautiful wife. And she is a great dancer in Paris. And we have 2 children. And both the children have come up so nicely, so beautiful to look. And they were all lucky. And I was raised, and I reached this stage that I became the ambassador of France to London. So I had all the enjoyments that I can ever think of in human life. There is nothing that I did not enjoy. But the greatest happiness that I got in my life was nothing compared to the bliss that I got here. 1,000 times more bliss here compared to what I got, the best happiness in my life. That is the dimension of jnana. Jnana is mere, not mere knowledge that I am infinite, I am that Brahman. It's a state of inner explosion. Just like an electron spinning around the nucleus, when you put on putting the energy, it jumps into the next orbit. The mind also jumps into a higher orbit. The mind rises from the normal thing to a higher level of consciousness and a subtler layer of silence. It is this that every one of you should get a glimpse. It is not difficult, but you have to put your effort. You have to see that you tune your mind, go on sitting there. You must learn to sit more and more in the silence. Particularly, BSc, MSc, Yoga and Consciousness people, this is the first duty. The first test that you have to do. You have to enter into that inner consciousness. Take off very time, then go on sitting every day, and get up the momentum. And a stage will come, then you get the crash of inner jnana. Without that, all your learning is bookish knowledge, is all this shastric knowledge. That will come at the level of Shravana and Manana. That's it. But Nididhyasana is a must. Nididhyasana is to stay tuned to that inner silence more and more. For longer and longer duration, you should be able to sit. When you are able to sit for at least 3 hours continuously, then there is going to be an inner opening. And that is the dimension that is talked about here in Jnana. So Jnana is that every one of us, every good yoga student, a seeker in the yoga realm should get a glimpse of it. Then there is a transformation. There is a total change in your personality. There is going to be a new vision that emerges. And you start becoming the greatest personalities in your own style. Everyone has that. That's what the great Master Swami Vivekananda said. Each soul is potentially divine. You all have that immense power. The goal of life is to manifest that divinity. To see that inner divinity start blossoming like a flower. The bud should open. And that is the dimension that we have to go to the Jnana. And that Jnana gets stabilized in Jivan Mukti. It becomes a Sthita Prajna. You can sit for any length of time in the deep silence. Days together, weeks together, months together, years together, you can stay. And what happens to the bodily requirement? Automatically it gets lost. Oh, do you mean that you can stay without food, without water, for any length of time? Yes. What happens to the body? What happens to our calorie theory? I had just returned from the US in 1973-74. I went to Kanyakumari. And I was told that there is a lady, very old lady, who is 150 years old. I just wanted to see. I went to the seashore. There is the mine. And she is very thin and tall, about 5 feet and 7 inches. And she was totally naked. With a beautiful smile on her face. With dogs around. Then how to assess that she is 150 years? I went down to Kanyakumari, found out the oldest person who was living there. He was about 96 years old. I asked, have you seen this lady here in Kanyakumari? How long? Oh sir, since my childhood I have been seeing her, she is like this only. So at least 100 years old. And then it is told that she never takes food, never takes even a drop of water, and she is the most healthy. How is it possible? What happens to her calorie? She needs so much of vitamin, so much of these things. We wanted to test. So we formed a group of 5 people, and every day from morning till night we went on monitoring. 1 week, we found absolutely there is no food that she was taking. She was not even taking any drop of water. We were all amazed. Then we thought, according to Sanskrit shloka, one who doesn't take food in the morning may be eating in the night. So therefore, we started tracking 24 hours round. And 15 days we found not even drop of water can enter into her mouth. Even if you try to push, it will not. And she is an absolute mona. Silence outside, silence inside. And I saw her from 1974 up to 1987. And she may be just staying there in the scorching sun of Kanyakumari, or the pouring rains, or the winter season. She never got sick. She never sneezed even a single day. Forget about even getting fever. Can that happen to human being? And a living embodiment which was there. So what all has been taught here in the Shastra, you have a living embodiment, then all our theories about the balanced food and the vitamins and then proteins and all these things will go to pieces. This is what is going to happen. Then Ramana sat for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in the deep samadhi. Who was giving food every day? Was he eating food? Many of the great yoga masters who bury themselves come out once in a year underground. Who gives them the food? Who gives them the water? The body raises to a higher level of the pranamaya kosha in which you don't need those things. Those are the higher realms that start coming up in the advanced Jnana Yoga. And with all the Ashtasiddhis, the person has total Jnana and he uses that for the best of the transformation of the society to build ideal social orders until he one day leaves his body voluntarily. Ichha Varanatva. Bhishma was on the Sharashaya on the cart that had been created by Arjuna by the arrows. And he said that I have to wait 4 more days, 8 more days to come to the right things. That is the Uttarayana. And until that he held his prana. And Dharmaraja was asked, when the war was over, Krishna says, first go to Bhishma. Get his wisdom base. He is the greatest of the masters of the time. And he had complete mastery over his prana. And he wanted, he will be able to leave the body. Until that he can hold the body to any length of time. Such are the great masters. And leave the body voluntarily. And then work with the totality. So that is the grand dimension of the Jnana Yoga that has been presented in the 18 verses here. And what we have to do? Start off with Shravana, Manana. And we have been doing that. Every morning we have the Shravana and Manana. But Nididhyasana is the key. That start meditating, start tuning yourself into that infinite, beautiful consciousness. Every day systematically. And get to the level of Jnana. You should get the flash of the Jnana. You are staying for 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. No. Within 1 year, you should keep a target. This year, I should get this glimpse of Jnana. Then you really get into the dimension of Jnana Yoga. Otherwise, okay, you pass your examinations, you finish the syllabus, you have question and answers, and you get good grade, you are getting A grade or E grade, and then maybe you are only in the Manana level. So my appeal and request all of you, please do the Nididhyasana. This is the most important thing. You may not study all Shastras, not become a master of Prasthanatraya. Ramana was no great Sanskrit scholar. Did he study the Prasthanatraya, nothing whatsoever. But he was the greatest of the master of masters. Biggest of the Jnana Yogis of the times. So it is this inner experience that's more important. So Nididhyasana. contemplation, meditation, silencing of the mind. That is why for a few minutes, this Nididhyasana. Sit straight, eyes closed, relax all parts of the body. Take a deep breath. Slowly breathe out. The mind should slow down. Slow down the number of thoughts. Observe the thoughts. Very slowly the thoughts are coming in the mind and the thoughts are going. Examine the gap between the two thoughts. Recognize the silence between the two thoughts. Allow the mind to stay in that deep silence. Imagine the vast, infinite blue sky, and let us tune our minds to that infinite expanse. Anandamaya Kosha. Deep silence. Let us spread the fragrance of that wonderful blissful state by maintaining it throughout the day. Let us spread that bliss, ananda, everyone whom we meet. Namaskar Mudra.